Hello and welcome, wonderful community, mankind, as I like to say. Often I think about saying humanity. Welcome to my wonderful humanity. To my human family, however, I like mankind more. Welcome. I'm on the other side of my birthday, as you may well know. Thank you to everyone who has so kindly congratulated me. And I'm making a point about this because it was a very significant birthday. All right, I'm very aware of the energetics involved, should I say. Also the numerology that was involved. I turned 32 yesterday, the 28th of March 2022, and 32 is also my life's number. So there you have it. Very interesting. And I had a really, really good day, I must say, yesterday. So I wanted to give everyone a little bit of an update on what's happening here, how we're doing, and I have to say I'm doing really well. As you know, the last months have really, really not been easy. Very, very challenging. However, there's the saying that I learnt from David Icke. Okay, that's where I can give credit to David Icke. Life gives you your greatest gifts disguised as your worst nightmare. And we're still extracting the essence. We're still extracting the learning lesson from everything we've been through. Even though I've already hermetically sealed that ceremony, the learning lesson continues. The ceremony, I mean the ceremony that we did in February. As you may remember, we did two very powerful ayahuasca and datura ceremonies. Okay, so I'll be going into that also. And it continues. Everything continues now. There's just so much information pouring into me at the moment about the situation that's going on here on Earth right now. And also I want to mention that, as I said, life gives you your greatest gifts disguised as your worst nightmare. I had an experience one day before my birthday. That was the 27th of March, like 2 days ago. And I felt like dying, to be honest. It really felt like the most intense fear that I've ever experienced just came up. During the breathing, like, can you imagine? You wouldn't expect it while you're doing your breath work before you head into the ice cold water, as I do every day. And during my breathing, I had this incredibly tense feeling of fear come up. And that already started hours before that. And I finished my breathing. And as I do, I go to the ice cold water. I dive into the ice cold water and I stay in the ice cold water for like a minute or two. Depends how I feel. That day I was longer than normal. And as I get out of the ice cold water, I've still got that feeling. Can you imagine? 'Cause everyone who does the ice cold water technique knows that things get better. You feel so amazing after the ice cold water. And it did feel better for me also. However, there was still something happening. And I was starting to shake. As I said, that just happened 2 days ago. I started to shake on my whole body. So I went into the bed and put myself under the blanket, laid down, and I was trying to warm up, and the energy was so intense that I just started repeatedly saying, I, as a high commander of the highest source, I trust that I'm fully guided and protected by the forces of ultimate power, and ayahuasca and datura. And I kept saying that I, as a high commander of the highest source, Stephen Wybrow, I'm fully protected and guided by the forces of ultimate power and ayahuasca and datura. And I kept saying it again, I, as a high commander of the highest source, Stephen Wybrow, I am fully protected and guided by the forces of ultimate power and ayahuasca and datura. I trust, I trust, I trust. And it was so intense that Liz brought me my special pyramid that I have from Bosnia. I bought that pyramid at the Pyramid of Bosnia, and it has the downright pyramid inside of it. And I put it on my heart, and I just did ceremony, and it was amazing. Like, just emotions coming up, big time fear. They took Errol, they took Leonie. What makes me think they can't take me? Sort of like, it's like you're in the unknown. And I know what I'm doing. I know why I came here on Earth. And they're fully aware that we are the biggest danger to them. However, there's reasons to which I will get to why they can't get to us. So going back to the experience, all I knew was what I told everyone in my video that I did a few days ago. Do what they can't do. Feel. Just feel. And I felt into it, and the whole day was just surreal. It was like a new birth, like one day before my birthday. Can you believe it? And also, the energetics of this from the numerology, the 27th of March is 27 is 999 when you add it together. So you've got 3 9s here. So that makes it the third harmonic of the 9. That's in harmonic arithmetic. Okay, you've got 20, like 9 is the first harmonic, 18 is the second harmonic of the 9, and 27 is the third harmonic in harmonic arithmetic. So you've got the 999 for 27, then the 3. So you've got 9 and 3, and what does 2022 equal to? You've got the 6. The 3, 6, and 9, which, as Nikola Tesla found out and shared with the world, is the key to the universe, to how this universe is structured. Now, I don't know about the multiverses and sort of other ways of doing things. However, I know that this universe works with the 369 key. That's why I talk a lot about it. And something happened that day, shall we say. That was on the 27th. So I had my pyramid on my heart. I was trusting in the forces of ultimate power, ayahuasca and datura. I was like, whatever, I'm just going to trust this. And I kept breathing into my heart. And suddenly, after 10 or 15 minutes, I think it was more like 15 or 20 minutes, time went out of the window. Suddenly, everything stopped. And my feet stopped shaking because my whole body was shaking. I was like when you're really cold. And I had the fear that I was going to die there. The fear of death is what I faced on Sunday. And I've been going through some heavy emotions before that and after that, as well as Liz also. It's been really hitting us. The emotional work. Just feel and let the tears flow of purification. And this is what... Now my camera's out. I'm back. My camera, hopefully. And this, you see, this is what we've been drummed into not to do anymore as a species, to just let our emotions flow. Especially the men have been so brainwashed into not letting their emotions flow. However, this is what activates the magnetics. This is what activates the Merkaba. And this is what I did on Sunday. And I put everything on the line. And I commanded the demiurge to be eliminated as a principle. I have done it. I've said it oftentimes. However, that 369 was a gate, and it was a massive event in my life. I know something shifted there. I don't know the full ramifications of this. All I know is that before the weekend, I think it was Thursday. So I'm talking about my experience on Sunday, the 27th of March. And on Thursday, the 24th, Thursday and Friday, most of the leading politicians were diagnosed with COVID. Most of the leading politicians here in Austria. And what I'm saying is from my decoding, which I'm going with, okay? I'm not asking for proof and evidence from the outside, okay, from someone to tell me that that's true. I have a knowing. The principle of Wetiko, the demiurge, in other words, was slayed on the 27th of March 2022. So the mafia basically lost its boss. The principle that they're serving. So in other words, when you take down the principle, you take down the wall that protects criminals. With wall, I mean the law. Wall and law are phonetically linked when you read them reverse. So the criminal law system, the international system, in other words, that the dark side of the force, the dark occult, set up as a monopoly, okay, a monopoly of law in which they can decide whatever the law is. They can prosecute anyone they want, throw into prison cell, do whatever the fuck they want. And the criminals always get protected. That wall that protected the criminals, that wall has been busted, from what I know. Because I'm getting my information directly from an information source that is outside of the matrix, outside of the Wetiko matrix. I have chosen to have a bond. Okay, a bond is a very strong connection. I've chosen to have a bond with the forces of nature. This is, in this case, ayahuasca and datura is who I have chosen to be in alliance with and have a bond with. So when I have a bond with ayahuasca and datura, that then means that I have to slay and eliminate the bond that I have with the field of Wetiko. You see, I'm writing these things down because I don't get to listen to my videos anymore, because I'm just dealing with decodings right now. There's so much information coming in to me, which I'm also putting together in another Navigating the Matrix with Natural Law Principles video that I'm putting together right now as I'm speaking. So yeah, coming back, I've got a bond, okay? It's an energetic bond of electromagnetism. I don't get my electronic connection with the matrix anymore from my being. The electronic connection of this computer, I don't even know if that electronic connection is from the matrix. There's something very, very strange going on here, but it's pretty amazing what's going on. So I have a bond with ayahuasca and datura, and that means that to keep up this bond with ayahuasca and datura and the forces of ultimate power, I have to eliminate all of the connections with the Wetiko matrix. This is what it means to have no consent. And this is the way of Gnosticism. Gnosticism is all about gaining Gnosis, gaining knowledge through experience, through direct experience, from your own life, not what you read in a book, from your direct experience. And there's many, many layers to all of this that I wish to explain in the next video. However, I don't want to break things too much. I know you hate me for that, because everyone's curious and wants to know. However, the whole matrix, the whole Wetico matrix, and all of the agents of it, this whole pyramidical structure of police, military, all of these agents, they cannot pick up my signal anymore. They cannot detect my signal anymore because it is outside of that spectrum. And that needs to be so in order to be successful for what we've got planned next. Because there's many things coming from this. We are blessed to be pioneering this information. As I keep telling to Liz also, we were chosen to do this work. It's the most difficult job for some time. And obviously, this is much more difficult for Liz to go through because the matrix took her child, and she's a mother of a child, so that is an incredible energetic load that one needs to digest. And I bet every woman listening to this can feel for her. This is something that I got a glimpse of that today, of what that felt like, and for those circumstances, Liz is doing an absolutely phenomenal job. Absolutely phenomenal. However, one needs to take the perception of empowerment of all of this, because life gives you your greatest gifts disguised as your worst nightmare. This is an actual truth. This is the truth. We only get to the light through darkness. The more light we want to absorb and go up the frequencies, the more darkness we have to integrate. So when you choose the path of true enlightenment, you're going to cross paths with the satanic pedophile network that has been running the world. That is the true path of enlightenment. Because enlightenment, you're moving to the light, but at the same time, in this experience in the matrix, you're moving into the light, and at the same time, you're moving into the dark. Like you spiral down the 6 into the darkness, into the abyss. You can only spiral so much up as you've spiraled down. The 6 and the 9. It's the same with the light and the dark. You only get to the light by looking and facing the darkness inside of you. Inside of you. And I'll say it again. Inside of you. That's why the only way we can take is to just face the feelings, because we will only ever be challenged with an amount of energy, with an amount of feelings and emotions, like I was, the experience that I told you about on Sunday. I faced the emotion and the energy of death. And I could do it just by feeling it. Not go into the mind, because the mind would make up all sorts of scenarios. They're going to come with shotguns and all that. No, nothing. Bullshit. 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 Just feel. Just feel. Life is a feeling. And we forgot to do the simplicity by being all entangled in the complexity. A true genius is someone who looks at the simplicity, who knows the basics, and who can decipher any story of manipulation from the basics, from the foundation, because it already starts with the foundation, has to start with the foundation. And that's what I'm learning right now, is to just feel. What I also transcended since Sunday is the amount of pressure that I put on myself, that I put myself under, which was triggered by this. That's why I always say to Liz, we are the perfect trigger points for each other, because if the actions that we take don't bring back Leonie, she's always disappointed, obviously. Because obviously she's sad. And then she starts crying, which is good. She needs to be crying to get those feelings and emotions out, to purify them. And at the same time, her crying triggered my program of not being good enough. And therefore putting myself under pressure. I need to become better. I need to write another notice. I need to do this. I need to do that. Which was creating that internal resistance inside of me. Blockage. Internal resistance inside my being. Which, funnily enough, I don't feel anymore since yesterday. And also not today. I've not felt it today also. And there's a big, big connection there when it comes to the matrix and transcending the matrix. What we need to find out is our trigger points. Those are the emotional blind spots of our psyche. With me, that is not being good enough. Self-doubt due to a lack of self-love. Which is now dissolving rapidly, because I'm not feeling any pressure by myself anymore. I have a much more expanded perception of the whole landscape of what we find ourselves in than I've ever done before, and I've already had a strong eagle vision. However, not like this right now. It's so much information that I can't even share it with you right now, because I need the slides, I need the pictures to explain it to you. It's pretty deep information. However, what I can share with you, the simplicity, is transcending the matrix is all about the Trinity. You only have to go that next step from duality. So you've got the light and dark spectrum Imagine a field of black and a field of white, like in the game of chess. That's why they have the checkered black and white floor in Freemasonic temples. Black and white of the matrix. It's duality thinking, the duality mindset. Oh, this is good, this is bad. Oh, I want more of what is good and I don't want anything of that what is bad. When actually the real good I'm going to get when I look at the bad things. And I dissolve everything bad inside of me and actually become a moral being and choose to live in right livelihood, to do what is right no matter what. So, from a state of oneness, so everything starts in the zero. At zero, where everything is just the 0-point energy field, everything is all potential. And then it starts with the one, the beginning. There's one. Okay, that's good. I'm here. I exist. But there's no one else. That's pretty boring, isn't it? So from 1, we get to 2. Next number is 2 from 1. So now we've got a contrast. From 1 to 2, we suddenly have a contrast. So it's not just us, there's someone else also. However, who also comes from the 1, who also can understand, like you listening to this can hopefully follow my logic. Hopefully I'm right. The 0 is all potential. Everything, infinite. Alright. So what are we going to do? We're going to have 1. Okay? I exist. You can think, oh, I exist. Yeah. Otherwise you wouldn't be observing that, would you? So we can be sure of that, can't we? So from the 1 we get to the 2, because yeah, there's people, aren't there? Yes, some wear muzzles when they go shopping. Some actually turn out to be 99%, but doesn't fucking matter because you're not wearing a muzzle, do you? So from 0 to 1 to 2, where we get contrast, experience. And from the 2, from the black and white thinking, from the duality of the matrix, we get to 3. Go one step further. The 3, as in 3, 6, and 9. The spiral of the universe. The Milky Way spiral. Look at it. It's a 6 and it's a 9. And that's why you have the paragraph. Whatever that's called in English, I can't remember right now. In law, the 6 and the 9 together. Yeah, they know why they choose the certain key symbols. They know exactly what they're doing. So let me just look up what paragraph means. Okay, doesn't give me paragraph. Yeah. Yeah. Doesn't want me to find out. Paragraph English doesn't, yeah. What they use in law, alright? Paragraph sounds, whatever. And with the Trinity, we transcend the matrix. You just have to do the Trinity right, which means thoughts, emotions, and actions have to be in alignment with each other. So the only reason, and I was tested yesterday, the only reason why they can't pick up my signal in the matrix and they can't energetically get to me is because I'm living in right livelihood, because I'm not causing harm. And that's how you end up outside of the matrix. You're acting right. Therefore, you are the one who's judging yourself. You're judging your own behavior, therefore you don't have to be judged by anyone. And those are the hidden principles of true Gnosis, of getting outside of this bubble of the matrix, which we're all going to do in our time. And it all has to do with the Trinity. We have to do the simplicity right. Yeah. You see, it's very interesting because normally I could be going on forever and speak forever. I can't do this today for some reason, which is totally fine. I'm totally good with that, because the level of information that I have to share with you goes so to the core. I can't be telling you without any slides. That's just how it goes. It doesn't work. So I'll have to continue my investigation, putting together the slides. It's going to be big. I've already produced many slides, put them into correct order, and I can upload that for you tomorrow. So I just wanted to show my face here today and say hello to everyone, and just let the process unfold. I'm really, it's just been the last few days now that I can, after 13 years of hard work, I can finally feel the accomplishment. It's coming in. I saw at least three eagles yesterday, right above us, hovering above us. Amazing sign. I also heard from the wonderful Megan in our community that she saw 4 eagles, and she had to tell me right away. Yeah, the eagle spirit, the grand overview. And I feel a sense of accomplishment because I know now for sure how the law of protection works, and how my intelligence is beyond that of anyone of the matrix, which is my protection. That's why the mafia is not showing up here. They can't, because we're integrating it all inside of ourselves. We're integrating the emotions, the trapped emotions, and we're not blaming anyone outside of ourselves. Oh, the bad this, oh, the bad that. No victimhood here. Taking full responsibility for the way I see it is that all the agents of the system, they're just mirroring back to me my shadow. That's all it is. And my shadow can't trick me anymore. I can read all the tricks, which is why I've taken over charge of the cruise ship now. It's mission control, mission accomplished, mission power, actually. Full control over the mind. Not fully there yet. You see, transcending the matrix is not one thing. It's not just, oh, now I'm out of the matrix and look at me. No, it's a continuous process. Continuously. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little bit of a, and there's my water. Oh, thank goodness. I was really thirsty. So the way this works is the matrix is an emotional control system. And it works by way of the trigger. Think of Ivan Pavlov, all right? And the dogs, when they start, I want some food. That's the basics. That's the basis of mind control. Mental and emotional control. Most of all, emotional. The emotional control is the most important for the matrix and the demiurge. So that's why it's so important to be honest with ourselves, because everyone gets triggered by something. Unless you're a robot, you won't get triggered. But when you're from mankind, you are an emotional being, and therefore you get triggered. Same as I get triggered. It's not about not being triggered. It's about how you respond to those emotional triggers. Do you take the choice of responding, or do you go into reaction mode, defending yourself, or whatever that is? So when a trigger happens, all right, think of a pendulum. So when you've not dealt with a trauma yet and you get triggered, when that happens in that situation and you're reminded of that trauma, it could be anything. You had a trauma when you were 5 years old that mommy didn't come home and you felt all alone, and suddenly you get triggered whilst in the supermarket and you just start shouting at someone because you're in fear of your life. That's how it normally works. We get triggered in our everyday life, and then what happens is, so you're in your center. That's where our natural state of being, this is the 0 point energy, the connected with your body. Then the trigger happens and you get out of that center. You've just left your center point. And a trigger happens and then and now you've got you can feel those emotions, so right? That which has been triggered. Okay, you can feel those emotions and just feel and come back to yourself. Or you go into the ice cold water. That's also a mechanism that takes you back into your center. That's why we do it. Or when you get triggered, it can also go into the other direction. You become an energy battery of the matrix for demons. You're their food source. So that's why whenever you get triggered, you see that robotic behavior from a lot of people. They all act the same in the same situations. That's why people, they just have their sitcom behavior programmed into them because they don't know what to do with their life. They don't care. They're just doing their job. They're just picking up their wage packet every month, and they wear the muzzle and go to supermarket and they get the injection and then they do this and they done. Yeah, that's life, and I don't care. I don't know what I want to do with my life. Don't bother me with these questions, because I'm just trying to make ends meet. Have you heard that saying? Yeah, but what can you change? And they're the ones that have to drink themselves stupid because they don't even get to their center. So they're way down that pendulum, and it goes so far that they're actually an inversion of themselves. That's where you are truly a battery for the matrix. So with the ice cold water slaying, what we do is you always get back to the center. You get triggered, but an awake spirit, let me feel those emotions. you come back to yourself, into your center. And when you're in your center, connected with yourself, doing the right thing, growing every day, you're outside of the matrix. The matrix doesn't have you because the matrix is a judge. And you don't need anyone judging you when you're judging yourself. Am I doing the right thing? Oh, I'm going to do the right thing even if it hurts. I have to do the right thing because there's only the truth and nothing but the truth. Because otherwise, I'll continue to get enslaved by the matrix. The matrix is a judge. And that's why me and Liz are doing these crying sessions, because we're out from our center, get triggered, and then we cry and we come back to our center. 0-point energy field. Outside of the matrix, you feel much better. That's why we do the ice cold water slaying nearly every day. Didn't do it yesterday because it was my birthday and we were out walking. And the breathing, the simplicity. And now I'm going to give you another, because I realized that I'm just going to break this also, and then I'm going to finish this live stream, okay, because I just wanted to give you an update and just be with you and share the space. However, I need to get back to my work. I'll share this with you also. So I realized that I'm trailblazing this new information, the new signal. And what I just explained to you can also be explained in those terms. So when you're in your center, that's the 0-point energy field in your center, and you get triggered, you get out of your center. The problem is not the trigger. It's about how you respond to it. When you respond by not reacting to what triggered you, and instead take responsibility over your own trigger, okay, you get triggered, you take responsibility and you respond by feeling. Just feel, stay with that feeling. And when you get home, you have that ice cold shower, don't you? You gotta love yourself. That's what true love is all about. You have to love yourself. You respond, and when you do that once, you're so proud of yourself, you want to do it twice. You know, you don't want to be reacting more. If you react again, you know, fuck it. You know, we're all making mistakes. That's how we learn. Center, 0-point energy field, outside of the matrix. However, when you get in such a disbalance, like the people, oh, I can't change anything. I've got my job. I've got bills to pay. From that center point, they become an inversion of that center point. They become an inversion of themselves because they are enslaved by their own shadow. They would have to face their own shadow to be their light. To be the true self, in other words. And to get into that center, all right, so you've got the natural, organic state of being, the natural you, the greater being, the true self, this here. And you've got the inversion of that, the shadow, the light and the shadow. The inversion of it. Now, the tips that I can give you is we need to integrate this is what I have to teach, because my life number is 5. 32, as I shared with you, the 5, that's all about the pentacle. What's the inversion of that? The inverted pentagram. Here we go, one of the main symbols of Satanism. However, the pentacle in the circle, the pentagram in the circle, is a major symbol, let me tell you. And now I'm going to give you this, all right? I don't know if anyone's ever spoken about this before. What's happening right now is you're listening to this information with someone speaking about this for the first time. Pentagram, the pentacle, penta is 5. We've got the 4 elements and the spirit, the soul, the upright pentagram, okay, that which is above the 4 elements, all right? So the 4 elements is represented by, as we know, earth, fire, water, and air, and then the spirit. So now we know, as I said, we need to integrate the pentagram. We need to integrate the pentacle in the circle, which means the 5. So what does that mean? So first, this is one of it, is the breathing, the breath. You've got E-A-T-H in there. B-R-E-A-T-H, breath. E-A-T-H, ether. The breath is the ether also. That's why we do the breathing by Wim Hof. And I've got a new way of doing it, which I'm going to be sharing with you also. The breathing of Wim Hof. Then the second aspect is the water. Now we know why we're doing the ice cold water, because we're integrating the pentagram inside of us. The ice cold water does that. Then we come to earth. And you know, for all those who have done it, you know what ayahuasca tastes like? It tastes like earth. Has this incredible taste, like it's not my favorite cocktail sort of taste. I'm fuck cocktails anyway. Don't drink that stuff anymore. Ayahuasca is earth. Now, what is fire? I came to realize that it's Datura. Datura is fire, is the sun, is the light, is the Stechap, is the forbidden fruit, the apple of Eden. That which can break any spell. And now we come to the 5. What links to the 5? What links the 4 elements to the 5th element? The spirit, the soul. That's what I said. The first, what was it? It's the breath. Breathing. The breath is the ether. The ether links you to the soul, to the spirit. So yeah, that's a little bit of a decoding here. This is high level alchemy. This is how those 5 aspects that I explained to you. Fire is Datura. Earth is ayahuasca. Water is the ice cold water. And go into the ice cold water. 4 is the breath, the ether, that links the soul, the spirit, and the ego consciousness that experiences this reality together in alignment. Mind, body, and spirit. The Trinity, again. And that's what made me transcend the matrix. So I'm I wouldn't have been able to transcend the matrix without ayahuasca and datura. Doesn't mean that that has to be the case for you also. However, ayahuasca and datura represent a field of consciousness, all right, a frequency that you can tune into also by hopping on here and listening to my videos and integrating that and living by that, knowing that only morality makes us transcend the matrix. It's as simple as that. And I'm bringing, together with Errol, I'm bringing back ancient shamanism, alchemy, the knowledge about alchemy. I'd love to go even more deep into that. However, I'm using the alchemy for law, getting Errol out, getting Leonie out, and for that I need to be outside of the matrix, because they're all really afraid of me. And the fear that I had, you see, this is how the whole holistic field suddenly makes sense. And I'm going to be explaining all of this in the Navigating the Matrix series. That wetiko is a semantic disorder. And this sentence has major ramifications. It's a disorder of your perception that distorts the meaning that you put to your life. So when I was in fear, I was in fear that someone could do something to me because they had taken Errol, you know? So I was in fear that someone could do something to me. However, that time is over now, because I realized that the fear that I felt that someone like the mafia, global international criminal mafia, whose system I'm taking down, who know what I'm doing who know where I am, however they can't pick up my signal. The fear that I had of them being able to do something to me was actually the fear that they have for me. Because the global criminal crime syndicate of the global international mafia is only a shadow casted. That is my own shadow that I own, because I feel and integrate my emotions. In other words, wetiko being a semantic, okay, we're back with the pendulum. Wetiko being a semantic disorder that distorts the meaning of your life away from the truth. This is the truth, and wetiko distorts it in that direction. So thinking that someone wants to get you is a distortion of the true meaning of your life. No one's out to get me, because I own my shadow. Those who I thought they wanted to get me can't get me, because I own my shadow, and they do not own their shadow. This is why I'm able to do my work now, since yesterday, with total clarity, freedom, and peace, because I know how things work. This is not a material universe, it's a frequency universe. And my frequency that I'm emanating, which is also the information that I'm sharing with you, is outside of the frequency bubble of the matrix, which is why they can't detect me. And they fear every next move that I'm going to make. However, I can tell them, your criminal system is gone. It's over for you now. You have to admit defeat, because I'm connected to forces of ultimate power who created everything. And this is how it will continue. We're on the up here. It's been really challenging, as I say. However, really, this is where your true personality comes forward, and your true self. That's the only way. It's what I tell Liz also. It's the only way. You can't be the power and your true self without the hardship. You have to first have the hardship. And what happened to us? Okay, now I always think that I'm going to wrap this up, but what happened to us? Them stealing Liz's child. This is what they would have done to everyone if they would have their way. We put ourselves on the front lines for mankind to do what we're doing here right now. Because the way this works is the forces of ultimate power, they see us and they're like, they can put us through the hardship that would have normally happened to all of mankind. They would take the children of the unvaccinated just like that, if they would have their way. This is the global crime syndicate. They would do it. They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck about you. All they give a fuck about is blood money and keep the money going. They run all the drug cartels. They would run all of the crime syndicate. All of it. They would have taken without question. That's why they're demonizing the unvaxxed. Because next they take the children and the ones who already got the jab, they're already taken by the demons. So they'll be applauding it. Yeah, we're just in this situation still because those people didn't get, yeah. You know how it goes. This is what they had planned for everyone. So what Ayahuasca and Datura, who we are in alliance with, who I have a strong bond with, they threw that at us and said, you go and deal with that. If you can deal with that, then this doesn't have to happen to all of mankind. We get to learn and grow and get all evolution to learn and grow from the experience that we're having. And then it doesn't have to happen to others. And most of them won't even realize that we've transformed, which doesn't matter because we get the Gnosis from the experience, the ultimate knowledge, because we've experienced it, and then we checkmated them by way of notices with the law, and we get to have the learning experience. Great, that's why we signed up to do this. All right, so I'm going to wrap this up now. I just wanted to give you a short shout out. Doing good, and things are really looking to go on the up. I can't do a community call today, unfortunately. I would love to. However, we'll do that another time. And I would just say, take care. Stay tuned here. I've got a massive video coming up soon, which I would also like you, everyone here, to help me out a little bit too, because I'm just going to ask everyone to post wherever you have access to, people that you know, send them emails or whatever. Just put a little bit of your time to have that information circulating, because it's going to be a big one. I'm going to be explaining what the mainframe of the matrix is, and all of the things that I've been given to share with you. The real information, the real esoteric information. Alright, so till next time, take very good care. Love all of you. Bye bye.